Sometimes the quietest moments in life turn out to be the decisive ones. Princess Madeleine remembers that period well. Her heart was broken, and everything in Sweden felt too loud, too close, too full of watchful eyes. She was not running away. She simply wanted to breathe. New York became her temporary refuge, a place where she could disappear into the crowd and stop being the princess at every step. And it was there, in the chaos and freedom of a big city, that something completely unexpected happened. Fate brought her to the man who would become not a dramatic turning point, but a quiet, steady support. From the very first minutes of their meeting, and they were introduced by mutual friends, something warm and almost home-like appeared between Madeleine and Chris O'Neill. He was not the kind of man who sought out cameras. He did not dream about titles, ranks, or official duties. On the contrary, Chris made it clear right away. He was a businessman, a man with his own path. And perhaps this was exactly the kind of grounding point a woman raised among protocol and tradition needed. Madeleine herself admitted that everything began with friendship, sincere, easy, and honest. They laughed at the same things. They shared a similar view of life. He became the one who helped her feel like herself again, not only a princess, but a woman who could love and be loved. Interestingly, his family values the same sense of restraint and personal boundaries that Chris embodies. 5 sisters, close-knit, caring, and almost invisible to the press. They support his choice to stay away from royal publicity. One of them, Annalisa, allowed herself to make a brief comment before the wedding, and even then, every word showed how important privacy is to them. And this, in my opinion, perfectly reflects the atmosphere of Chris and Madeleine's relationship. Calm, respectful, and free of unnecessary drama. Today, the couple has long since found their rhythm between the United States and Sweden, between royal duties and private life. Yet even in such harmony, there are moments when choosing family or work means missing some traditional events. This is exactly what happened on the eve of the Nobel Week of 2025. While the king, the queen, the crown princess and her husband, and Prince Carl Philip gather to meet the laureates, Madeleine and Chris will be absent, apparently due to work or personal commitments. And again, no drama, no shadow of conflict, just life, where priorities sometimes have to be balanced. All the more because they will, of course, join the actual Nobel banquet, as they always do. And on that glittering evening, Chris certainly will not get lost. His sense of tact, his lightness in conversation, and his ability to hold a dialogue have long been admired. But if one looks back, it becomes clear that their path toward today's understanding was shaped by many personal moments. Unofficial, warm, sometimes almost every day in nature. For example, the story of the wedding preparations. Madeleine remembered how she went to Paris to try on her dress at Valentino's atelier, and the designer's little pugs were running around her. According to the princess, the Italian seamstresses were clutching their heads in despair, but she just laughed, and the dress turned out absolutely stunning. It is exactly in these little details, amusing and vivid, that the real human side of royal stories reveals itself. And their friends add their own warmth to the picture. One can recall the moment when Mia Parnevik nearly missed the wedding simply because she did not check her mail in time. It was Chris who called her with a slight note of panic in his voice, reminding her to confirm her attendance. Imagine that. The future husband of a princess, a man with countless responsibilities and worries before the ceremony, picks up the phone and calls a friend, just to make sure everything will be right. That is a trait of character that one simply cannot fake. And it is exactly such moments, small, sincere, quiet, that create the feeling that Chris and Madeleine's relationship is built not on tradition and duty, but on deep respect for one another. They are a couple that knows how to be together without dissolving into titles or status. A couple in which one person inspires the other to be honest, kind, and calm. And it seems to me that this naturalness is what makes their union so strong. Every time they appear at official events, whether it is the Nobel banquet, family gatherings, or national celebrations, they bring not only the sparkle of jewels and the beauty of ceremony, but also that same energy of partnership that cannot be staged. And when they disappear from the radar for a while, it only emphasizes that they have their own life, their own space, their own warm reality. Chris and Madeline remind us of a simple truth. Real relationships are built not on headlines, but on quiet steps toward each other. And that is why their story is not about titles, not about grand gestures, and not about protocol. It is about two people who found each other at a moment when they both needed genuine sincerity.